Why the empath aims to please. I was compelled to write about people-pleasing and how easy it is for our life to become a performance in doing so. Slowing myself down to journal allowed me to realize just how much of the things we see and feel are so beyond the veil that we mask and perform this idea of being in order to escape the look on others' faces who don't understand a person like us. I see it as a look of fear. The fear of someone actually being present enough to see through them. They will try to gaslight anyone that gets too close, because behind the eyes lies the key to a person's truth that not even they can hide. And if you're present and clever enough, it will serve you. It was important for me to strip the layers of that within my own journey, to unpack and share. There was just so much to unpack about that topic that even starting to journal about it felt too close. It was overwhelming. That's how I knew it was the perfect topic. So let's start from the beginning. I grew up with a lot of women in the household. My mother raised 2 daughters by herself, and because of my mother's daily sacrifice to be a present parent and provide for us, all I experienced was her superpower-like efforts to raise us. And it took becoming a woman myself to see how easy one could lose themselves in the servitude of motherhood, wear it as a performance of survival, and then mask it as happiness. She would always say, "If my girls were okay, I'm okay." But I always wondered about the girl in her, and who gets to call her to rest. And she was doing the best she could, like the mothers before her. And when that is all you know, it's a generational thing that takes more intention to recognize and work through. Watching her performance made me also want to perform to please her. And because I felt my upbringing was hard enough on her, in my efforts to love her, I would lie to her. I would deliver an impeccable performance too. So much so that becoming an actress was just putting a price on what I already knew I was able and capable to do. I love the arts, and I also love the idea of people being pleased by my abilities and what I could do. I saw a TikTok where a person explained that people-pleasing is actually a form of manipulation, and I see it clear now. When I'm performing, something magical happens in the present moment. You feel so in control, so wonderful, so close to God, that you have some power to alter the emotions of the person whose attention you have. This act filled me in a way that was addicting, but it was complex. I was extremely quiet and to myself in social settings, never had many friends, but when I was performing, I felt like I was everyone's friend. That was the only way I knew how to connect. So it didn't matter if I was an imperfect student, never really made straight A's, never really had many friends. I could be so in control in the moment that anyone talking to me could feel what I wanted them to. They could feel supported or loved or at ease. I so desperately wanted to be good that the reality of whoever I truly was didn't really matter as long as I can control what people perceived me to be. But the downside on that, when you spend so much of your time and energy being for others, when do you call yourself to rest? When does who you actually are reach the surface? Being a people pleaser and choosing a life path of an actress, there's no escaping this wanting to be liked or desired. And when I started out, I wanted to focus on training. I could do that with no issues, and it was exhilarating for me to work my muscles as a storyteller. But after getting representation and walking into the industry and the business world of wanting to be a successful actress, the important factors like my appearance, my type, my network, all started to seem like this mountain I had to overcome before I could be worthy enough to claim myself an actress. And the more people I met that were pursuing the same thing, the more I realized how hard it was for me to keep friendships and relationships with these people, because I think without them even knowing, they were performing and people-pleasing too, operating their life out of this need to perform and be liked and be at the center of everyone they are around. And if you're making so much of your life a performance, some calculated networking strategy to get into the room or get one step higher than where you are, what part of it is actually you? That if all of these people in your circle, in your life, in the rooms that you would like to be in, if they're all kind of performing, how do you know if they're keeping it real with you? And vice versa. If you find yourself having to perform just to be in these settings, how do you know if this is a group or if this is something that actually resonates with you? I think when something is truly meant for you, yeah, there's work and there's putting on smiles and making sure that you're making connections and it's actually, you're building rapport with certain people. But I think to the core of who you actually are, it's not going to feel right doing it for a long amount of time if you're just like performing everything, you know? Just another thing to think about. If something that I'm saying is something that you find in your own being, what calls you to rest? Is it a person that enters your space that makes you feel truly seen? Or a place that you can go where you can truly be your real self outside of the performance of survival? Where can you go where all of your emotions are welcome? Remember, in our efforts to prove that we are good, worthy, or reliable, you're letting at least one person down. You just have to make sure that that person is not yourself. Every step you take to please others is a step away from your authentic self. Putting someone else's feelings above your own 90% of the time doesn't make you a hero. You're just letting others know you lack boundaries and are open to anything.